Hello, mis cielitos, and welcome back. Coco is here, and I am continuing Raging Loop. Last we left off, Outwalkie was a little concerned about the fact that, what's his name? Had revealed that he was the one who is capable of guarding someone, which means he pretty much has a target on his back. Assuming he's telling the truth, of course. I could hear the wolves laughing. Before that. When Takumi said he was the snake. Takumi-san is the snake? That's what he said. I got some urgent business. Mochi, old man, see you both.
Huh? The wolf is coming!
You knew?
Huh?
Shit. I didn't have the time nor the connections. Muro-san. What? That was my line. Why was he farming at a time like this? Thank you for the key. Oh, don't mention it. But don't walk around by yourself. Everyone's on edge as it is. About that, do you know how many humans the wolves can kill per night? Jamie went and told you about it, huh? I insisted on it. In fact, you had to have seen that coming when you sent her to meet me. The info I have is still limited, but I'm a bit worried. Sorry to bother you, but can you tell me more? Sorry won't cut it. It's a huge bother. I don't want to waste any time on this dumb shit. I have a farm to care for. I thought you and Jamie would understand, but you're serious about this too? Well, he really didn't seem all that bothered by all this, but... 2 people already died. What of it? Huh? Listen, people die all the time, and I'm always stuck cleaning it up. What? What was he talking about? Did you see the aftermath of the landslide uphill? It's been like that ever since the Nosato got to work on the place 8 years ago and it collapsed. They were too freaked out to even clean it up. I ended up digging out the workers' corpses and burying them. I had no idea that was such a big deal. Then there's the idiots from the city, coming here just to hang themselves or get eaten by wild beasts. Me and the old man always have to deal with a mess. Mudo, what? Oh. I don't... Alright. I'll let him finish speaking. It's not rare for Saranaga to bring us corpses either. I don't know if they're mountain fishers or something, but it's dangerous upstream, damn it. And yet no one cares. I pick them, give them all nameless graves, and leave it at that. Beasts, corpses. You never know what you'll find in the mountains, kid. But this time it was in the village. Yeah, I was wondering about that too. I never heard of Asian black bears eating humans. So maybe we got a pack of actual wolves here. And you're saying that was done by beasts? And you're saying that was done by humans? What of it? We just have to create a night patrol. Why the hell do we have to kill each other? Okay, so yeah, glad I gave him room to speak, because it's that aspect that he's concerned about, not him just... I thought he was just arguing the whole matter of people dying to begin with, but it seems he just hates the fact that this is being wrapped up in the hangings, which is valid. This person was hard to read. There was no denying he had a good head on his shoulders. He was reasonable and skeptical about the unknown. On the other hand, there was some things he put even above rationality. It felt like something you could call Yasumisu's rules, or better yet, fellowship. He looked at the situation from the perspective of, I gotta protect Yasumisu. He did whatever he could within those constraints, but he was in denial about the existence of enemies originating from within Yasumisu. To him, this situation was just a common case of some outsiders died, so what? Or maybe that was what he really wanted to think. That made the situation very bad. But I, being an outsider, couldn't say that. That's true. Like you say, there's something wrong with anyone believing in such superstition. He looked displeased. What was I supposed to do? But I'm curious about what I asked first. Do the legends say that everyone dies the first night or what? I need to know how to feel about this. Oh, that won't happen. Wolves can only kill one person per night. Really? But why? What does the legend have to say about it? What did Ba-chan say again? No one can go against the laws of the mountain. Not even the Yomotsu Okami-sama. Yomatsu Okami? Wolves that returned from Yomi, apparently. Huh. Weird. I felt like I'd heard that term before. Still, wasn't it weird the laws applied to the wolves too? They were on the Yomibito side, as in those opposing the mountain. And I was pretty sure the law of the mountain said that only one person could be killed per day. Lynching one during the day was the limit, and killing more than one per night was against the rules. Both would make you the target of the corruption. It didn't make much sense to me, but at least I found out that the wolves too could only kill one person per night. Sorry for bothering you with weird questions. I'll get out of your way. Oh, right. By the way, if you need an extra pair of hands, just ask. I won't meddle any further than I have to, but you're letting me stay here, so the least I can do is earn my keep. Yeah, sure. His last reply was half-hearted, but at least I got a bit of the rules I was missing. When I came back to the dining hall, I found the students, Chiemi and Yoshitsugu-kun, Yasunaga's little brother. Meiko had left.
It's Poop Man. I mean Hassan. Poop Man?
What? The name still got a chance to spread. Hello, Bellhound. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. That aside, I had to find out what happened at today's feast. Recalling what Mochi told me made this kind of hard. Sorry, but can I borrow Chiemi-chan?
Wow, I sure am popular these days. Why you? You just can't take a hint, can you?
Haru-chan, let's just help Mom.
You say something too.
It's probably something complicated.
I'll be the one who breaks the plates.
Haru-chan, you be the one who holds him back.
Huh? Hey, what's going on? Sorry about the commotion.
What did you tell Yasunaga-kun?
We talked about today's feast. Things aren't looking good.
Yeah, I figured it was something like that. Shikamochi-kun told me that Takumi-san revealed he's the snake.
He did.
Are there any other snakes?
Others? No, there's only one snake.
The mountain gave 4 kinds of guardians. The snake could ask the mountain whether one of the participants was a wolf or not. The monkey was the only one of which there were 2. They had the power to know who the other monkey was. The crow could determine whether the person who was lynched the previous day was a wolf or not. And the spider could ask God to protect one of the other participants from the wolf's attacks. Honestly, if the so-called God really had that power, I'd complain to him, and he should protect everyone. I would complain to him that he should protect everyone. And as far as I knew, anyone who didn't have a guardian was either a powerless human or a wolf. The humans could kill a person during the day, while the wolves could kill a person during the night. It was a battle for survival. The humans had to do everything to find and kill the wolves. If they couldn't find a single wolf during the feast, the whole event was completely meaningless. The wolves would simply crush the settlement. If you ignore the fact that it's murder, the fact that you didn't choose a wolf suspect today is pretty bad. It's a day wasted, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I told Yasukun.
Then there's the fact the snake outed himself.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty bad.
She understood it well. We couldn't expect the help of the police or getting a forensic investigation. Not to mention we were up against supernatural monsters. As things were, the snake's power was the only way to find out who was a wolf or not. In other words, losing the snake would mean losing their most powerful weapon against the wolves.
But he should be fine for today. The spider will protect Takumi-ni-chan.
Huh? Hold on. We also know the spider.
No, Yasukun suggested that whoever it is, keep it a secret so that the wolves don't find out.
Sharp.
Kanzoji-chan agreed, and we went with that.
Seems like the right move.
It does. We probably should have done the same with the snake.
They really should have. It was best to secretly gather info without revealing their guardians. Especially for the snake. He should have kept quiet and used his power to find out as much as reasonably possible before revealing himself. I knew it was difficult to figure out right away, but the fact that the snake, the most important role, was the first to be outed was really bad. From my perspective, Takumi-san had been so focused on protecting Yasumisu himself that he'd made a terrible mistake. He appeared calm, but I wouldn't have been surprised if he realized this and was actually pretty shaking. It turns out they suck at their ancestral ritual skill issue. Yeah. Though where they would begin in trying to decide who might be one of the wolves, I don't know, because so far I haven't really seen any clues. But I also don't know how, because this game doesn't seem like it's one that requires investigations. But I guess we're still fairly at the beginning. Usually by now they would have revealed tutorials and whatnot if they were planning on implementing that, so it's probably just all decision-based.
What do you think will happen?
She asked like she already knew the answer. Hello, Binks dear. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. Doing well. The spider was told to protect Takumi-san. The wolves obviously heard that. If they try to go for him, the spider will stop them, right? No idea how, though.
Yeah, and with that, they'd lose one day's worth of murders.
Jamie seemed to process this as a logic game, too. If I were a wolf, I'd ignore Takumi-san and go for someone else.
You think so, too? Who do you think they'll go for?
I don't know. I have no idea what the wolves are prioritizing. If they prefer the blood of women and children, they'd probably go for the younger people.
Scary.
Don't worry, you're not the youngest girl here.
I'll kill ya.
It's fine. You're still the prettiest.
I'll forgive ya. Though that still sounds pretty bad. Who knows what they'll do before killing me?
I'm sure there are plenty of things they could conceive. Apparently, there was another layer to the worst possible scenario. If they're not killing based on their preferences, then they'll kill someone whose death would shake the villagers. And that'd be someone influential, or a player who's invaluable to the humans.
And that'd be Kanzo-ji-chan, or Yasukun.
That seems likely. It's been me and Kudo all along. Yasunaga-kun was the only one who'd done something helpful for the villagers this time. He seemed to be the leader of the high schoolers, and had a good head on his shoulders. But his ideas required Kanzo Makishimashi's approval, which made it pretty clear he was a standout. Honestly, I'd expect him to take more initiative than he had, but the fact he considered the younger people's opinions showed real leadership skills. In any case, he wasn't someone the humans wanted to lose. Oh yeah. And did you decide who Takumi-san will investigate?
Yeah, it's Kyonosuke-san.
Huh? What's with that choice?
What do you mean? He asked for it. I mean, wanted to prioritize those who were the least popular. It'd make them safer.
I wasn't so sure about that choice. Those who were confirmed as non-wolves would have much more freedom to act. At the very least, they wouldn't be suspected as wolves who were just trying to exploit the situation during the feast. That being the case, shouldn't they have opted to choose a potential leader to investigate? Well, I didn't really know if Kyonosuke no Satoshi had the skills, but from what I could tell, he definitely lacked the influence to lead. If they wanted to secure a reliable leader, they should have went for someone like Kanzo Makishimashi. But wait. If the snake's target is killed by the wolves, the snake's power will be wasted, right? The dead can be investigated by the crow, after all.
No. Those killed at night are chosen by the wolves, though they're obviously humans. The crow can only investigate those chosen and killed during the daily feasts.
Oh, I see. Makes sense. Whatever the case, perhaps investigating Kyonosuke-shi wasn't that much of a mistake. Did that mean that they were actually doing a decent job? Well, it'd be pretty bad if Kanzo-shi was the one to go. Amy looked gloomy. She and I probably felt that it wasn't a complete blunder, but still had a bad feeling about it. During the feast, everyone had to lock themselves somewhere all alone around every sunset. It was called sheltering. Well, I could understand it, considering the legends, but I'd still wondered why the students didn't go to school. It was a weekday. When I'd asked, they just told me, why would we leave when it's so dangerous? The idea that they couldn't leave when the mist was here was so popular, it affected their daily lives. Also, the people at Kami Fujiyoshi had to know that Yasumizu was covered in mist, right? Considering the school there probably had few students to begin with, the non-presence of the three from Yasumizu would normally be a serious problem. I knew it was a settlement for the ostracized, but did they really neglect this place that badly? Looking at it from that angle, it was safe to assume that the local villages, Kami Fujiyoshi included, actually concealed the Feast of the Yomi Purge. I thought about that and similar things in room 203 of the student dorm, the place I was given. Timmy had given me some cup ramen and hot water. We'd chatted for a moment about being neighbors for a while, and then she returned to her room. Weird. We could be so casual about this, considering there was a chance we wouldn't meet again tomorrow. After dinner, I took a bath. The gas boiler was pretty damn old, so learning how to use it took a while. There were some working electrical outlets too, so I could charge my phone. I didn't have a wristwatch, so that was important. By the way, my room didn't have a kitchen. I was pretty sure the other rooms didn't either. From what I could tell, no one here actually cooked or ate at their own homes. They all relied on the dining hall to provide their meals. This settlement had not only a unique culture, but a way of life as well. I couldn't help but wonder how something like this began and survived into the modern era. It was an interesting subject to research, but for now I had to worry about the fact that my life was in danger. Anyway, what were my options now? I wasn't part of the feast, but walking around at night was probably dangerous regardless. After all, I had memories of getting killed doing exactly that. From a logical standpoint, that was probably just a dream, but it had a quality to it that made it hard to believe it was. I had to be careful until I was certain. And then again, I had a record of surviving by just not making any noise at night. Maybe I should have stayed awake and looked around. Also, Takumi-san had said they were gonna have someone keep watch at night, didn't he? Was he gonna do it himself? Considering the snake's importance, he shouldn't do something so dangerous. Shit. They'd barely decided anything in the feast. I wasn't getting enough info either. It felt like I barely knew the basics. Talking during the feast meant giving info to the wolves, but if the humans kept too many things hidden, the wolves would end up knowing way more than them, and that was just as dangerous. Still, there was a limit to what I could do in my situation. If I kept being the messenger I was today, I could create a huge imbalance of info myself. Not to mention, I could be deemed suspicious and lose the residents' trust. Shit. What was I supposed to do here? Was it best for me to just stay quiet and wait for the feast to end? That wasn't like me at all. There was a mail slot on the door. I opened it up and looked inside. Everything was still covered in mist, so I couldn't see much. I could only see the handrail and the branches going in the hallway. But maybe I could see some intruder if I kept staring. Not likely. After all, this was the room at the end of the second floor. Haru-chan's and Chiemi's room were closer to the stairs, but I couldn't see anyone going to attack them. The only time I could see the monster come would be when it was coming for me. Maybe keeping watch like this was the most important thing if I wanted to stay alive, but I found it hard to put my own life on the priority list. For some reason, I felt like if I died, I'd just go back to the starting point. Yeah, better not think that. Anyway, I had to stay awake. I still had many things to worry and think about. Yeah, I thought that was going to be a choice. What? As I woke up and tried to move, my head rubbed against something tough and then smacked into the doorknob. I writhed in pain. What was going on? Did I fall asleep against the door? Was I more tired than I thought? I was glad I didn't die and all, but this was a failure in my eyes. Sleeping in an unnatural position made my whole body hurt. I wobbled over to my fully charged phone. It was 6 o'clock. That was early morning for me. I'd have loved to just go back to sleep, but I was too curious about the feast. After washing my face with hot water and putting on my shoes, I decided to take a peek through the mail slot. Outside,
I saw Chiemi standing there with a knife in hand. I reflexively stepped back, tripped, and fell on my ass. What the hell was that? There was a woman standing before my room with a weapon. I'd only caught a glimpse, but that was enough to conclude that I was dealing with a scene straight out of a horror movie. What could have prompted this? Did she suspect I was a wolf? Or was she a wolf herself? She knocked on the door, making me squeal a bit. Haruaki-san, are you awake? Would she kill me if I replied? Wake up! I need a hand checking on everyone! By the way, I'm armed, but it's just for self-defense. See that sooner, damn it! Oh, so you're awake. Don't worry, I just put the weapon away. I hesitantly peeked through the mail slot and saw her hopping around, showing me her empty hands. After meeting up with Chiemi, we went around the dorm and woke up the students. All of them were all right. While they got ready, we went to the Nosato mansion, just because it was close. Yasumizu was still misty and unpleasantly silent. I walked carefully, just like yesterday morning. Oh, chopping onions, what she's making. I couldn't write off the possibility that a werewolf would jump out of the mist and tear me apart. It'd be over for me. I was walking ahead, dragging Chiemi by the hand, careful about where I was going. If something happened and I got eaten or something, Chiemi could either fight back or run away. Is someone there? Oh, Nosato-san. It's Husaishi and Chiemi-chan. Where? Oh, there. We peered through the mist, and a gloomy frown appeared. Hey there. Looks like the mansion was safe. Of course. It's old but well protected. Not even monsters could make it in, surely. I see. Then can we all take shelter inside? Why should I let you? This is Yasumizu's problem, not mine. I see. Good point. Then we'll just get moving and solve the problem, I guess. Huh? Wait, it's dangerous. We need to be in groups. Really, I was beginning to think this guy was best described as all bark, no bite. Though prideful and vain, he wasn't as smart as he claimed to be, as shown by his inability to take charge of the feast. Also, his fussy attitude was probably just him making up for his fear. It was entirely possible he was putting on an air, and that the mystery of Yasumizu, or rather, Fujiyoshi, was actually scaring him. Anyway, we went downhill and met up with the students. Even a familiar road can be scary. Yeah, Miss sure are weird. I can get naked and no one will be mad. Stop that, you fool! Harumakishima was acting weird. Mochi was definitely expecting a retort from her. She didn't say anything, and her face was so pale you could tell through the mist. Hanging her head, she was slightly shaking. Everyone else could see it too, but no one chose to address it. Questions would quickly become suspicions, after all. Perhaps she was a wolf and did something horrific last night. As we all thought similar things, she suddenly collapsed to the ground. Are you all right? Don't touch me! Her hoarse scream shocked everyone. Haru-chan. Nii-chan, I just... I'm sorry, but right now Yeah, I can understand if you're on edge. Be careful about where you walk. We then slowed down. Haru-chan, not touching anyone's hands, was at the rear of the group. As we walked, trees and stones drifted in and out of visibility through the surrounding mist. Our vision was so limited it felt like the world around us was changing with every step we took. A tunnel of trees, a path on the paddy field, a stone platform, a concrete stairway. We walked between realms every passing second. I was still worried about Haru-chan. What was on her mind? Was she afraid or wary? After descending for a bit, we arrived at the plaza. I see. All of you are all right. We met 2 more people in front of the dining hall. Are the elders sleeping in?
Ba-chan's still getting dressed. He's not feeling too great right now. Let's check on those who aren't here yet. Come with me, Kyo.
Why are you ordering me?
Because we might need some manpower. Susaishi, you come too.
This was the first time he'd ordered me to do something, but it wasn't a situation where I could be happy about him relying on me.
Yes, of course.
He probably had a bad feeling. Namely, that he wouldn't be able to rely on a certain someone ever again. As I passed by Kaori-san, I heard her whisper. Yasunaga, can you help?
With what, Mom?
Finding your Shitsugu, he's missing.
Everyone probably had a bad feeling about this. The 3 of us guys checked the houses. Yasunaga-kun, Chiemi, and Mochi walked around the settlement. We'd agreed to split up and start searching. The misty village was silent. I couldn't hear anyone chatting. I'd seen these buildings from the outside, but it was my first time actually walking in. The shabby buildings built using blackened planks were more or less buried in vegetation. Some were on the verge of collapse. The way their frames jutted from the mist reminded me of the carcasses of giant beasts. I walked on a line between the grass. A footpath, surely. I often heard something small jump in the grass. It was probably just some bugs or frogs, but it's made me flinch.
Rikaku-san lives here, right?
Yeah, in that house.
Shit. Why must she live in a place like this?
If you don't know, there's no way we would. I'd guess it's the Miguruma's orders.
To my knowledge, she moved to Yasumiso of her own accord, and there's no need for her to be here in the first place.
Maybe she knew the mist was coming and came to cast a spell or something to keep it away. That sure didn't work, though.
Takumi Mudo, I don't mind you being disrespectful of me, but you should choose your words when talking about her. She's a legitimate Kamufuji Yoshi family head.
Like I care. This is Yasumisu. She said it herself, didn't she? And the feasts were all served on the same platter.
Rikaku-san, Rikaku-san. Rikaku-san! Rikaku-san! Are you alright? Apparently Takumi-san didn't like the Uematsu family, or the 4 head families in general. Now that I thought about it, though she wasn't as disliked as Kyunosuke-shi, the villagers in general weren't fond of Rikaku Uematsu. It seemed like a pretty obvious outcome, though. Yasumiso was a settlement for the ostracized. It was impossible for a member of one of the head families who openly spurned them to form a good relationship with the locals. Rikaku-san emerged before too long. She was wearing her usual strange getup, and she didn't seem any different from how she looked yesterday. I need to check on Mako. We moved on to the next house. It felt like Rikaku-san was urging me, so I woke the girl up. Mako-chan, it's morning! Well, I couldn't imagine Rikaku-san raising her voice, while the other two probably didn't feel like they had to get involved with the girl. After a few calls, she finally came out, still half asleep. Mako, I'm glad you're all right. Hio, take them to the dining hall. Come with me, Rikaku-san. What's your step? Yes, She was apparently trying to get my attention, so I turned around and said, yes? I'm sorry. Her sudden apology left me completely confused. She then departed alongside the other two, leaving me alone with Takumi-san. Are you sure we should go on without Kyonosuke-san? He'd be useless anyway. I only brought him along in case it was the Uematsu's mock priestess that died. But now I know who got killed. It could still be the old wolf guy, or... Shut up! If old man Kanzo was around, he'd have woken up earlier than anyone and searched the lump of Yasumiso 3 times by now! Sorry. His house is over there. I followed him in silence. I couldn't think of anything to say. The fact the door was unlocked made it clear that something wasn't right. The moment I opened it, my nostrils were assaulted by a smell I'd experienced just yesterday. The reek of a fresh corpse. Damn it, damn it, damn it! Unlike Takumi-san, who was looking away and cursing, I did my best to burn the scene I'd witnessed into my memory. I felt like to avert my eyes would be disrespectful, and chided myself for wanting to look away. This body was much more intact than Mamiya-san and Hashimoto-san's. That made it much easier to become painfully aware of the fact that this was a human, an intelligent life form who was with us yesterday like it was no big deal. There was one problem, though. The part of the body that used to be the head was completely destroyed. There was no part of the head left untouched. It was that thorough. It was obviously the result of relentless, heavy, blunt attacks. Everything above the neck was just a strange, flat mass of shattered skull fragments and white and red organic matter. Compared to it, everything else was largely unharmed. The old-looking clothing and the unexpectedly robust chest for someone his age were all the proof needed to know that this was the body of Kanzo Makishima. We'll clean it up. What else? Please wait a bit. What are you gonna do? Find out as much as I can. Since we had no idea when we could get out of here, protecting the scene of the crime for an official investigation meant we had to leave this body to rot here, and we just couldn't do that. And considering the horrible state it was in, the villagers probably wanted to take care of it their own way as soon as possible. Not much I could do to stop that. Thus, I did my duty as someone without such obligations. This corpse was completely unlike the ones from yesterday. Although those two were destroyed completely, the damage on this one was focused on the head. The weapon clearly wasn't sharp. They'd used something blunt. The skin on his face was torn but not sliced apart, and the skull was shattered. This was caused by repeated blunt attacks on the head. It wasn't my job to picture whether this was someone, if there was some profound grudge in this. The only clear thing here was that the wolves killed him using something blunt, not claws or fangs. And it was obviously done with dedicated intent, not accidentally. At the very least, the entity that made this corpse wasn't the same as the one that made the ones from yesterday. It made sense if you separated them and assumed that yesterday's was the corruption, and today's was the wolves. But the thing I'd seen when I was walking around that night that time had the appearance of a wolf. Or rather, a werewolf. If the werewolves were the ones bringing the corruption, the tale all this based on would make even less sense. If the corruption was Great Lord Shinai's, the mountain god's punishment, it'd be weird for it to be delivered by the wolves. Holding back my nausea, I looked back at the corpse. Then I rolled back my sleeves and reached for the destroyed head. Dude. Oh boy. You have clearly seen shit like this before. Even if it wasn't caused by something supernatural. Hey, what are you doing? I'm pretty sure I'm wrong, but I'll still have a look. Decapitation meant body doubles. Mystery Writing 101. If someone brought it in and killed a person with a similar build to Kanzoshi's, then left him here, his death could easily be fake. Did Kanzoshi have a silver-capped tooth in his lower jaw? No, he didn't. His voice was strangely forced. I looked at him and realized he was kind of pale. I might have overdone it. Still, I couldn't be soft in this situation. He was proud that he didn't need any crowns or anything despite being over 60. Why? Did you find one? No, I only asked to prevent any misdirection. It's a healthy set of teeth. What the hell? The lower jaw was mostly intact, while the upper one was destroyed along with the rest of the head. Despite that, I saw a hint of the old man in the eyebrows and the dark hair with streaks of gray in them. It was pretty clear it was the one and only Kanzo Makishimashi, so it was probably pointless to keep thinking about the way he was injured. My hands were all messy. I'd have to wash them later. The corpse aside, Kanzoshi was lying on some thin bedding, and there was no sign of a struggle. He was either instantly killed by the first attack, or knocked out, laid here, and then killed. Still, it wasn't a corpse that was easy to make. The situation here was peculiar. One point I found curious was the fact that Kanzoshi surely obeyed the shelter law and locked himself in. However, the lock on the door was still perfectly intact. So logically speaking, Kanzoshi had opened the door and let the culprit in. There was no sign of resistance, so it was probably done by someone he felt safe with. However, if this was a normal killing by the standards of the Feast of the Yomi Purge, then this was definitely made possible by something unnatural. Back to the situation at hand. The futon and everything around it were bloody, obviously, but there was another strange thing about the crime scene. The dampness. Some spots were really wet, and clearly not because of the mist. It was like the murderer purposely spread some water here. Were they trying to wash away the blood splatter on them? But there was no point in doing so in front of the body. The footprints were faded. Were they trying to cover their tracks? They were still pretty visible, though. It was more like they put bloody footprints on a futon and tatami that was already wet. The shape of the prints told me they weren't made by Western shoes, Japanese clogs, or wild beasts. They were just long ovals reminiscent of those made by Zori sandals. There weren't many of them, though. Most of the blood was absorbed by the futon. But from what I had, I could tell there was only one type of footprint.
Find out anything?
Nothing special.
Thought so. You don't specialize in this, do you?
Sadly, no. All I knew was that the culprit was a very dangerous human. As I washed my hands, Takumi-san removed the sliding door and put Kanzo-san's remains on it. He covered his destroyed face with a nearby hand towel and prepared to carry it.
You take the other side.
Got it. We lifted it up, and yeah, this was definitely a job for two people. We went out into the mist.
Are we throwing him into Saranaga? That's what Ba-chan would want.
Because he'll be corrupted if we don't.
Yeah.
A voice devoid of life. I couldn't call out to him. Pushing him any further was dangerous. I could tell by the air about him.
It's my fault.
Why?
'Cause I messed up on the feast.
That was entirely possible. This proved he was aware of it himself. I would have said that, but it felt wrong.
I don't know much, but I think you were trying to do your best. But what's the point if I mess up like this?
And then you need to make up for it. I think you'll have to be the one who leads Yasumisu now.
I can't.
Well, I couldn't either. I was just an outsider, so I had no idea how to console him. Feeling powerless, we approached the dining hall. We'd pass by here and go straight for the graveyard. Tai Yamawaki-san had come out too. He's in the midst of prayer.
Oh gosh, oh, those eyes.
Kaori Oribe-san was standing next to her. She looked completely out of it. Rikako Uematsu was covering Meiko's eyes and looking straight at me. Haru-chan, Hanzo-san's actual granddaughter, was watching her grandfather's corpse with an intense expression. It probably wasn't good to make any assumptions here, but I couldn't help it. I felt like her expression was full not of unbearable sorrow, but of anger, hatred, and disgust. I'd never seen them have a nice chat, so I wouldn't have been surprised if they didn't see eye to eye. But still, I'd have liked it if she made a different expression, if only for this moment. I could only think that because I was an outsider who didn't know shit. It wasn't good to make assumptions. Shit. Why was I in this position? Just how much could I even learn in my position? But as it turned out, I was still underestimating the situation.
We couldn't find Yoshi-kun anywhere.
We met Chiemi on the way to the graveyard. She and the two high school guys were still recovering, but the mist made it extremely difficult. We told her we'd join once we buried Kanzo-san and pick up our pace. The graveyard wasn't that far.
Yasumisa wasn't very big. It only felt like it because of the mist. Or the load. I'd completely forgotten about him. He was alright too, huh? I had no idea why, but he was looking at us, clapping and laughing. That meant that Yoshitsugu Oribe-kun was the only one we hadn't seen yet. I was told there'd be only one. The wolves were supposed to kill only one person per night. That's true, but doesn't mean that a human can't decide to take advantage of the situation and do some killing too. I don't think he's dead, but I don't think they'd pull that card that early if they were to play it at all, but still a possibility. Not saying a word, I hurried to finish the job. That led us to finding him early. Oh, well, I guess I was wrong. They did pull the card this early. Damn. Let's see. Binks says, I really like how they handle the inner thoughts and struggles Haruaki goes through in this game. He's a very nuanced character living in shades of gray. Yeah, I really do like him. A lot. He's very interesting. And a lot of times protagonists tend to be pretty one note. Like you get what they are pretty much from the very beginning. But he feels very real. Yoshitsugu-kun was on the shortest path to the cliff, in the grass of the graveyard. Though Takumi-san had only noticed him by chance. That was how deep in the grass he was. And how many pieces of him there were. It reeked of death too, but it was mixed with a smell of trampled grass and a strange beastly odor. Okay, see, yeah, that's making me... Because when... Well, and I'm wondering if Haruaki is onto this as well, because he said with the first death that it felt like the act of a human. And I kind of assumed that he was just speaking in terms of werewolves being disguised as human. But everything about how that first death was set up did not seem like werewolf-like, you know? No claws, no teeth marks. The head was caved. There seemed to be some attempt to hide evidence. But yeah, and Haruaki definitely seems to be onto that. It reeked of death too, but it was mixed with the smell of trampled grass and a strange beastly odor. Maybe not all the blood around here was his. Unlike Kanzo-san, he left clear proof of a tough battle and intense pain. Yoshi, you had guts. Takumi-san's voice was shaking. He picked up a soccer ball-sized object. Half-eaten, and basically a shadow of what it used to be. It clenched its teeth, even in death. Can I? Takumi-san gave it, Yoshitsugu's head, to me. I put my finger in its mouth. Oh, God. Handling... Ugh. I was curious about what was stuck in there. What I found was a clump of beastly fur. Dude took a bite out of the wolf? You've got guts. You had guts. Now they're all over the ground, but hey, you had them. In several senses of the word. He literally fought tooth and nail, resisting until the very end. Resisting what? Obviously, the being that brought the corruption. Now the werewolf is a werehuman. It didn't take long for the news of Yoshitsugu Oribe's death to spread across the village. I'd heard that the pain of losing one's child was beyond any description. Even so, Kaori Oribe-san broke down so badly it felt abnormal. The mild-mannered woman became a mad beast. We had to band up to keep her from running to where we found Yoshitsugu-kun's corpse. We'd already gathered it up and thrown it into Saranaga after all. Takumi-san kept a tuft of the boy's bleached hair, which he gave to Kaori-san. She instantly put it in her mouth. Through her wailing and choking, she did her best to chew and swallow it. It was a wretched, gloomy, and miserable sight. Though it might have been an act born of ultimate motherly love. Whatever the case, no matter the shape, it was too late to try and bring her child back into herself. Not to mention absurd and pointless. That was how it looked like in my eyes. Let's begin the feast. We gotta do something about the one who killed the old man and Yoshi. His words got the attention of basically everyone present. But they didn't reach the sobbing mother and her older son, who was gently consoling her. Yoshitsugu-kun. Why did he have to go against the laws? His efforts and death had only worked to corner not just his mother, but everyone else here. It was useless. He'd gotten some weird fur for us. No one, not even me, had any doubts about what we were dealing with here. A situation where everyone was desperate, acted on their own accord, and didn't know how to use their lives well was basically the worst. And apparently, this line of thinking I'd had would foreshadow the next turn of events.
Where did Haru-chan go?
Shit! Why was everyone in such a hurry to do the worst things possible? Chiemi Serisawa, Chikamochi Kamoshida, Takumi Muro, and I went out to search for Haru Makishima. Kaori-san showed no signs of calming down, so Yasunaga-kun stayed with her. Kiyonosuke-shi refused to come, arguing that it could be bad if there wasn't enough manpower around the dining hall. And he wasn't wrong about that. It wasn't unlikely that some fur-covered murderer, or Haru-chan's kidnapper, was still around. To prevent any surprise attacks or accidents, we split into pairs. We were given a hoe and a sickle for self-defense.
Be careful, you two.
Shout if something happens, loud enough so we can hear you, but low enough that others can't. Alright, let's go, Mochi.
Time to do work, Hassan.
The skirt would have made the search harder for him, so he'd changed into his school uniform. He wasn't cut out for the job either, but he had no other clothes, and at least it was better than a one-piece dress. He seemed to enjoy wearing girls' clothing, so changing into the uniform was probably his way of showing he was serious about this. He kept his easygoing tone of voice, but I felt like there was gravity in his eyes too. He might have been pretty shaken.
Haru-chan.
Haru-chan. We walked around Yasumisu, shouting until our throats became dry. We checked every bush, all the patches of tall grass, and behind every tree. We even searched the water around the paddy fields, but it didn't feel like we were any closer to finding her. What do you think happened to her?
I don't know. Maybe she's shocked by her granddad's death?
No, before that. She's been acting weird since this morning.
Was she?
Is she really fastidious or something?
Past what?
A clean freak. Hates anything dirty. I think I saw hints of that ever since we first met.
I say she's just the greatest scaredy cat here.
Scaredy cat, huh?
She was always really afraid of all the corruption talk. Maybe she was just scared of getting corrupted.
I see. Fear based on superstition. That made sense, but why had it suddenly gotten worse? What happened last night?
That's why I don't think Haru-chan could kill anyone if she was a wolf.
And is that what you think?
I don't know if she is one of us or not, but I really don't think she could if she was.
How prudent. That's not like you.
Well, we're not talking about me here.
I don't want to try and get a read on you. I just want to hear your ideas on what's going on with Haru-chan right now.
I have no idea who or what you're confused about. But to me, Haru-chan is as important as Yasun, if not more. I don't really care about anyone else. So we should just find her.
Good point. But no matter how hard we searched, we saw no sign of her. She could have been hiding somewhere, or maybe she'd collapsed. But I was beginning to entertain another idea. What if she ran away from Yasumisu? I asked, knowing everyone would deny the idea.
That'd be hard to believe.
When the mist comes, Yasumisu is connected to Yomi. Ba-chan's words. So anyone trying to escape would just end up there.
Not to mention, those mountains are dangerous.
All that considered, if there was something that'd drive her to escape from the village, what could it be? Everyone fell silent. They couldn't even imagine it. It was like their brains had stopped working. If she'd actually wandered out into danger, then we'd wasted too much time searching for her in the village. I had to hurry, so I didn't hesitate to use some big assumptions that bordered on chicanery. What if she no longer trusts the village or the people here? What do you mean? You might have seen something at night or early morning, or come to some sort of realization. Like, for example, what if she found out that someone she knows well is a wolf who killed people like it was no big deal? Everyone gasped. She's young, so she's still pretty unstable. And since Yasumisu is so small, it wouldn't be strange if she felt like she lost her place here if someone betrayed her. The girl seems pretty emotional, but makes sense she'd jump straight into running away, right?
You make a solid argument.
But then what do we do? Give up? That was the thought of someone from Yasumisu.
I'll go look for her. I'm not afraid of the corruption.
And that was the thought of someone from Yasumisu who had a few screws loosed. Anyway, I'm an outsider. I'm not exactly averse to leaving anyways, so I'll look for her too.
I said I'd stop you, didn't I?
Don't worry. I'll head back the moment it gets dangerous. She definitely won't head in Saranaga's direction, so I'll focus on the path to school. Also, adults shouldn't turn their backs on children, right?
Hassan!
I can't argue against that.
Of course, it's possible that she's still in Yasumisu, so you two keep on searching for her here. Leave it to me.
Run away if it gets dangerous.
Hassan, about what you said.
What do you mean?
You know, the thing about Haru-chan losing trust in everyone as a result of something she saw.
What about it?
That didn't actually happen, did it?
Who knows? I was just raising the possibility. It's likely, though, isn't it?
So, what you think... So, what? You think she saw me or Yasun walking around with a mouthful of huge fangs?
That's a possibility, too.
Not sure I buy that.
Is that just your intuition talking?
Yep, it is. Speaking of which... I also feel like this Feast of the Yomi Purge is designed to keep the wolves from being outed easily. You can't see them at night because you can't walk outside. You can't stay gathered in one place and watch each other. You can't call the police, so there can't be any investigations. And since everything's covered in mist, things can happen without anyone realizing.
And that's why you can't get that sort of solid proof. How could the players send people to be hanged without the slightest bit of material evidence? If you ignored the weird guardian powers, it was all quibbles, agitation, sophistry, emotional arguments, connections, popularity. Basically the power of communication. I don't really get it why, but yeah, I think it's designed that way on purpose. Nothing was certain. They were put in a dangerous argument, with their only weapon being their eloquence. It was a feast of doubting, hurting, and eventually killing one another. If there was such malice behind this, then Shikamochi Kamoshida had a point. Are you a detective or something?
Huh? No. That'd be Yasun. He might know more than he lets on.
I'd have to talk to him then. We arrived at the mountain pass separating Yasumizu from the rest of the world. The large stones at the sides were like torii without a top. They might have had some religious significance. There's no rule against stepping beyond here, right?
Nope, only that you can't run away from the feast.
We were going out to find Haru-chan, so we were good. Ignoring the fact that Haru-chan was breaking that law, we passed between the stones. But we soon had to stop. The path was blocked by a landslide. According to Mochi, despite being pretty rocky, the ground in this area was strangely fragile, so landslides weren't that uncommon. There had been some pretty bad rain 3 nights ago, hadn't there? If that was related to the mist's appearance, it wasn't unlikely that we'd get both the mist and this landslide at the same time. Despite that, this just felt a bit too convenient. I had to consider the possibility that the people in the settlement above blocked the road to keep the Yomibito from getting through.
Hassan.
There was something way more important. We found footprints in the still damp mud. It was proof that she'd passed through here. They disappeared into a small cliff that only reached up to my shoulders. She had to have climbed up and disappeared into the forest.
Let's hurry.
Yeah. The term virgin forest was used to describe the forests that were still untouched by mankind, letting nature have complete control over it. Many of the cedars here looked imported, so that term probably didn't apply to this one. However, it wasn't tended to whatsoever, so the words natural or undeveloped definitely worked. There were many fern saplings on the surface, a canopy of leaves above, and a thick mist all around.
It certainly didn't feel like a place humans were welcome. For better or worse, the new fern seemed slightly trampled, indicating someone had passed through recently. Over here.
Be careful. You got lost on this road after all.
Haru-chan!
Should you really be shouting like that?
It's one of the basics of living in the mountains. The beasts run away if you scream.
Oh yeah, I'd almost forgotten about the very real threat of wild animals. I'd realized I'd lost myself in the mood and became kind of embarrassed. Haru-chan!
Say something!
Shouting over and over, we kept moving forward. She tried to follow the path, but all the cliffs and boulders in the way made her stray from it. 10 minutes later, we lost all sense of direction. Yeah, this place was really dangerous. Would we really find her? Even if we did, wouldn't it be too late? I was reminded of Yoshitsugu Oribe and his cruel fate. Were we about to lose yet another life? As my thoughts turned to that very real possibility, I heard some weak weeping.
Haru-chan?
Mochi, stay away.
Are you all right?
Please don't come after me.
I had a bad feeling about this. Something really bad might have happened to her.
Wait up!
Hey! Shikamochi went after the voice with no hesitation. His body was quickly buried under all the plants and mist.
Give me a hand, Hassan.
His lack of hesitation felt dangerous in some way. Was I just imagining it? Anyway, I went after him and quickly caught up.
It hurts. It hurts.
Haru Makishima was buried under all the greenery.
It's her leg.
Stop! Ow!
I walked up and... Man, this was pretty bad. Her leg was all covered in blood. Her shoe and foot were pierced by a sapling that broke right at the bottom. She stepped on this. Can we break it off?
Nope, we gotta pull it out.
That'll open the wound.
There's some lawn, marsh, pennywort, and chameleon plants here. Let's close it with them.
You can do that.
Nosato is the family that made medicine.
First I'd heard of that, but I had no choice but to believe him. She resisted verbally, but she was too tired and weakened to do it physically. I picked her up, doing my best to ignore her wailing because of the pain, and pulled her away from the branch. Shikamochi quickly took care of her wound and used a handkerchief to stop the bleeding.
Let's go back. Can you carry her?
Of course. You sure you don't want to do it, though?
Who knows? I just don't have the build for it.
I thought of saying that Haru-chan would have preferred him, but she was barely conscious thanks to the pain. We didn't have time to waste on sentimentality. Lead the way. One lost person is enough for one day.
Going back is easy, but man, it really does look like getting out is impossible.
Agreed. Haru-chan, I'm so glad you're alright!
She isn't. Takumini, call Taiba. We've got a wound to patch.
Got it. Our return caused quite a commotion, and by the time things had begun to calm down, it was way past noon. Haru Makishima's escape attempt distracted everyone, but none of the problems were actually solved. Kanto Makishimashi was killed by the wolves, while Yoshitsugu Oribe was taken by the corruption. Hmm. Yoshitsugu's death was especially problematic. Each meaningless death was yet another obstacle against resolving the feast. Even if they picked and hung someone during the day, it wouldn't guarantee that there'd be one less wolf. God, it had been silent for so long that the start of the song actually caught me off guard. It was way more likely that they'd get rid of an innocent. Even worse, the wolves in the group would most likely try to leverage the hangings in their favor. They'd claim to be innocent while casting doubt and blame on the other survivors. To win, the humans needed to do their best to see through such trickery and identify the wolves, possibly even making them confess. That was how I saw it anyway, and I was the one with the least info here. With that in mind, all humans who died by breaking the rules were actually doing the wolves a favor. If she'd actually disappeared, I'd have said the same about Haru Makishima, assuming she was human anyway. Perhaps someone encouraged them to break the rules. If that was the case, the wolves were ruthless, knew the rules well, and were steadily advancing towards a complete victory where all humans lay dead. That'd be someone influential or a player who's invaluable to the humans.
That'd be Kanzo-ji-chan or Yasukun.
And just as we'd feared yesterday, the wolves had silenced one of the most important people in the feast. It was hard to believe they'd chosen him just because they were scum or because they didn't like him. The situation was really bad. Another thing to note was that Yoshitsugu Oribe's death greatly affected Kaori-san, who was responsible for everyone's meals. That was a major problem. Oh man. That I mentioned before about how when I used to play Mafia way back then, and at the very beginning, whenever someone saw that there was a baker role, everyone would just freak out. Because if you're unaware, the baker is a role that is pretty much what she has. They are the provider of food. And if the baker ends up dying, then you only have 3 days left to find the wolves, otherwise it's a game over. I remember there was one time the baker was the first one to die, and yeah, that one didn't go well. Good work, everyone. Here's some. When she tried to give us tea once she returned from the search, her face was pale and she was shaking like she was having a seizure. Despite her— oh gosh, yeah. Actually, I mean, I'm pretty sure if I just Google it, I can find the website. But it was a really fun website that had so many roles that could be chosen to be possible roles in a game. So many. You know what? Let me Google that real quick. I wonder if it's still running. This might be it? What is this? Huh. I don't know if this is the same one. Like, I'm doing a quick thing to see if I can host a game, and there isn't any, like, role selection that I'm seeing. I'll look into that more deeply later. But it was fun. I used to do it, this is gonna sound so fucking nerdy. But it used to be, a game role-played as RP characters. So we were role-playing characters playing the game. Despite her attempt to carry on as normal, her composure was in pieces. It was so painful I could barely watch. Takumi-san should have been supporting her, but he was just gloomily hanging his head. In the end, Jamie had to lead Kaori-san back to her room and stay at her side. I could only hope that was enough to calm her down. However, it was nearly time to do the inevitable. I recall you were saying that we should start today's feast. Now is as good a time as any, don't you think? Kinosuke addressed the downhearted people gathered in the dining hall. Does it look to you like anyone's up for it?
The day will end at this rate. The wolves are clearly intent on killing us all. Can we really waste time waiting in a situation like this? It'd work in their favor. We have to pick someone to hang no matter what. Don't you agree, Moodle?
Alright. Yasunaga, try talking to everyone upstairs.
That was where Taya-san looked after Haru-chan, and Shamie looked after Kaori-san. Oh, I'll go.
You don't have to, Mochi.
Just let me.
Chikamochi winked at me for some reason.
It might take a while.
Yeah. Take your time. Everyone has to be there after all. I will go prepare.
Please do.
Oh, wait!
Now is my chance. Yasunaga-kun, can we talk? Huh? About what? Sorry about your brother. Thank you. That makes it a bit better. For him and I. That's a very mature way to talk about it. Maybe I should have sounded more my age then. This boy was already pretty mature. You didn't get along with him. That's not it. We didn't always see eye to eye, especially recently. He was a really good guy. I think so too. It seemed like deep down, the tough guy routine was really just an act. Did he get along with your mother? He did. Despite all he said, he really loved her. And she probably loved him more than me. Ow. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, that's not what I was asking. Sorry. All human relations are complicated. Trying too deeply wasn't a good idea. Sorry. What did you want to know? A few things. Mostly about the legend. Taya-san is the better person for that. I need the opinion of someone more rational. First question. Why do you think the wolves kill the humans? Because they're angry at humans for tricking and killing them. Let me rephrase that. Why do the people giving the roles of the wolf suddenly become able to kill their friends and family with no remorse? Huh? Are you suspicious of Haru-chan and I? Oh, no. Sorry, that's not it. I want you to look at this from a general perspective. Say you've been told that you're a wolf. Could you just accept it and start killing people? No way. Exactly. No way you could. Of course, there are those who could, but most couldn't, either out of fear or guilt. Mochi is a good example. The people here are afraid of certain things, but they do have lines drawn in the sand. If the lives of those they care about are on the line, they won't hesitate to face the corruption and the wolves.
That's only because Mochi is special. He's a genius.
Genius?
Yes, he can easily make predictions and decisions normal people can't, and he'll readily throw away anyone or anything he doesn't care about. Everyone else thinks he's just weird, but I think he's a genius.
I see. I think I agree with you there. But anyway, what I'm saying is that you people aren't the types to magically become murderers just because of some corruption. Of course, there'd be people who'd do it because the corruption would come for them if they didn't, but even they wouldn't do it without hesitation. But the wolves we're dealing with aren't hesitating at all.
I don't know where you're going with this, but I think it depends on the personality of whoever the wolf is. It'd be easy for people who never had any aversion to killing.
But there are two wolves, right?
Yeah, seems that way.
I see. Let me ask you this then. Does Yasumiso have more than one person that capable of murder? One psycho in a group of people I could see, but two seems pretty unlikely. I think a better assumption is that there's some way to turn even an ordinary person into a ruthless killer. If that isn't true, the lack of infighting doesn't make sense under the current circumstances.
When you put it like that... This is just something I heard from a teacher at school, but... You could do it by giving them something to fight for, couldn't you? Basically, you need to make them think that they're doing the right thing.
And that the wolves are doing the right thing?
I see.
That's an interesting way to look at it. It's how countries convince their people to go to war.
Yes, that's what the lesson was about, but I think that your perspective is a bit flawed.
What do you mean?
For example, most of the girls in this settlement are timid and prefer to leave the big decisions to the men. Even Haru-chan is like that. So if the wolves are a man and a woman, it's entirely possible the man's taking the lead in doing the killing, while the woman is just following along. Also, for all we know, the wolves could be arguing all the time, and they just didn't happen to hesitate in killing this one time.
Yeah, good point. But I do think that there's some secret to why this feast lasted so long. Traditions like these usually die out. It makes me think that there must be a way to ensure the killings continue. Your idea is certainly interesting.
I don't think you should call it interesting. Not in a situation like this.
Oh, sorry about that. That was insincere of me. Let me ask you one more thing then.
Go ahead.
I was working under the assumption that nothing particularly strange is happening here. What about you? Do you think there's something mysterious going on?
I don't want to believe it, but I think there is.
Why is that? Did you see a god or monsters or something?
No. It's hard to put into words, but... The fact that the mist appeared when we had a whole 4 outsiders here made it feel like there was a higher power at work. No matter how I look at it, I don't think mist like this could have been produced by human hands. Not to mention that it's strange how the wolves can enter sheltered houses and kill the people there. There's also the fact that if one of us killed someone, you'd see a change in their behavior, or some evidence would be left behind. We can't explain those things, so yes, I do think there's something mysterious going on.
Oh, I see. Alright. Sorry for asking such a weird question. By the way, who do you think are the wolves?
Haruaki Fusaishi-san. He cut me off with a stern voice. Sorry, but that isn't something we talk about in the feast. You don't have the right to ask that.
Oh, my bad.
Listen, we'll have to hold the feast to decide which one of us we should sacrifice today. It's important to propose who we think is suspicious, but it's also very dangerous. Something we said outside of the feast could be used against us and become a fatal mistake. The fact that you asked me that makes me feel like someone's maliciously using you against me. Please stop.
Good point. I'm sorry. Really.
Oh, but... Now I won't blindly believe that you're an ill omen, but I won't stop suspecting that you're involved somehow. If I ever find out you had something to do with Yoshitsugu's death, I'll...
Your what?
He glared at me. I'll have to avenge my little brother.
I see. Of course you would. I'll just head to the cage and do my best to be as unsuspicious as possible.
Oh, you shouldn't do that.
Why?
Today's feast might drag on until evening. It might be too late by then. You should go to your room in the dorm and ask someone outside to block the door handle with a stick.
I see. Good idea.
This boy was really smart. If Takumi Moroshi was a site foreman type, he was a manager type. I could see a talent for using people. Can I ask something too?
Of course.
Do you like Shieni?
Whoa. From a political standpoint, I would say no, but yeah, she's likable.
I see.
Well, she seems pretty available, so she'd probably date me if I, or anyone else, asked.
Oh, are you being considerate of me? I had a feeling that Mochi told you something weird. It's not like that. What I felt for her is a thing of the past. She was the only older girl around these parts, so I was attracted to her. That's all. This place was gloomy and serious, and she was the only free-spirited person here. She's as amazing as Mochi.
And you're saying she was a rascal?
Yes. So much so that she almost killed someone.
Hold on.
Well, it was an accident. So it's strange you think she's available. Cheney-san is actually pretty shy.
Is she now?
Or maybe she just changed a lot during her 3 years of college. So yeah, I've already gotten over her.
Now I feel like you're the one being weirdly considerate. That's not healthy, you know? It's all good if you like her. This is hardly the time or place for that. Good point.
And that was it, huh? Eventually, everyone gathered and went to the hall. Just as I was told, I asked for them to lock me in my room. After getting everyone, including Takumi-san and Tae-san, to understand, Yasunaga-kun, Chiemi, and I went to the dorm. Chieni, do you think he can jump from the window to the branches?
No way. Even if he made it down, he couldn't get back.
The two verified how secure a place like this was to lock me up in,
If they were the wolves, it'd be impossible to outwit them. Humans stood no chance. Oops.
Anyway, we're locking you in. We'll come opening it up if we have the time, but you might end up staying like this until morning.
Alright, fine by me. It's gonna be hard, but I hope you do well.
Thanks. Sorry you're caught up in the problems of such a crappy village.
I'm more worried about you.
Wow, isn't that nice? I'll do my best.
All done. We're locking you in then. Yeah, you be careful too, Yasunuga-kun. You're now your mother's only child. Yes, that's true. And so the door was closed. I could hear them set up the stick. So far, the only ones I'd talked face to face were Chiemi, Takumi-san, Mochi, and Yasunaga-kun. Just 4. The ones I hadn't talked to were Hae Yamawaki, Rikako Uematsu, Meiko, Kaori Oribe, Haru Makishima, and Kyunosuke no Sato. The old wolf guy. A whole 7. I had no idea if there was a significance in that, but I wanted to know what kind of people they all were. 4 people had already died, and if you ignored me, there were 11 left. Once the snake revealed what Kyunosuke she was, he, and the snake Takumi-san, would be the only ones with confirmed roles. The other 9 would be suspects. When one was hanged, there'd be 8, and when one died in the night, there'd be 7, which was still quite a lot. I wouldn't count that as a lot, but alright. They had to hurry before it was too late. The humans had to act now.
Hello.
Whoa, what? The supposedly fixed door slightly opened up. It was Chiemi.
I forgot, but I might not get to give you your dinner, so have this at least.
She threw me a yellow food box, the kind you could find in any convenience store. Thanks. Seriously.
Don't mind it.
Oh, by the way.
Oh? What?
Tell the monkeys to reveal themselves.
Why?
Think about it. You'll understand. And you know you have to do something before it's too late. Janie, what are you doing? There's no time. Go.
Yeah. Okay.
She closed the door and put the stick back. Alright, what next? Haru-chan, is your wound alright?
It's fine.
I know it's not a good time to ask, but what happened?
It was pretty bad, I'll tell you that much. Whatever, let's just start. Everyone had a drink. Let's begin the feast of the Yomi Purge.
Let's get to it. Takumi-ni, did the snake's power work last night? Yeah, it did.
Well, tell us.
Kyo is a human.
Of course I'm no wolf. That means Mudo and I are no longer suspects, right?
It does.
Let's look at what we have to decide today. If we continue based on the late Kanzo Makishimashi's decisions... Hold on, why are you taking the lead? I don't mind if it's I don't mind it if the eldest, Yamawaki-san, wants to take over. I'm no good at that. In that case, it's only natural that myself and Mudo, adults confirmed to be human, should be the ones to lead. Takumini, he's annoying. You lead.
No. Hio, keep going.
He's still shocked from the elder's death. No need to force him. But I will do everything I can in his place. Mudo, you console Madame Oribe. My boy, he...
Kaori-san.
Here's my proposal. Let's do whatever we can to choose and hang someone today. Hold on, that's too reckless.
But it's necessary. If we don't, the wolves will eventually kill the last human.
Exactly. We'll have to harden our hearts if we want to survive the feast. Am I wrong, Yamawaki-san? You're right. The Yomibito must be hung. 1 soul per day now to bind. What if we make a mistake? Even if we kept it a secret, we'd have to live with the guilt of having killed someone. It's true that it would be unpleasant, but such deaths wouldn't be in vain. What the hell? If we kill the wrong person, their death would be pointless. That's obvious. Watch your words when talking to your superiors. Listen, for now we only have 2 surefire ways to get rid of suspects. Surely you understand, Yasunaga-kun?
Yes, the snake's power.
Or killing someone and lowering the total number, huh? I know that, but do you really think we can all agree on someone? We can't do that. Do you think the one who gets killed cares which side wins? That's why we need to reach a consensus here. We need to agree that if the others survive, I don't mind dying. Huh?
Is that seriously all we have?
Yes, that's all we have. The laws of the mountains remain merciless. What the hell? I'm not just getting hanged for someone else's sake. Oh, that would make you a wolf, wouldn't it? Why?
You have no intention to put your life on the line for Yasumisu, and that makes you Yasumisu's enemy. Is that what you're saying?
Am I wrong? People of Yasumisu, this is a test of your unity.
You sure seem to be enjoying yourself.
I'm only giving advice as someone from Kami Fujiyoshi and as one whose suspicions were lifted. Be silent. Kinosuke no Sato-san, you were quiet about this until the snake looked into you, right?
What are you getting at?
You already knew we had to be unified and accept death if it was necessary, didn't you? But you also knew that saying that would have made the snake's power way more popular, so you stayed quiet.
That's just an assumption.
She's right, though. The Kami Fujiyoshi guy who's no longer a suspect is telling us to die and be okay with it. As if we can just accept that. Takumini, you say something too.
But he's right.
Takumini?
I agree with him as well. Suspect me. Hang me. Whatever your decision, I will accept it. Rikaku-san. As I said before, in this situation, Kami Fujiyoshi and Yasumisu are irrelevant. Not to mention, I know it might be impudent of me, but I believe myself to be part of Yasumisu.
Ooh, look at that. A respectable attitude. Something a certain someone here doesn't have.
However, I do not think that expecting that of this girl. I do think that expecting that of this girl would be a bit much.
You're all scary.
But we have no choice. There can be no exceptions. Then if you decide to hang her, I shall go with her.
What? You mustn't! We only need the blood of one per day! I just have to die of my own volition. The corruption comes only for the sinner. I'm already dead, and it no longer matters. But?
You're being a pain, Kyo. If you're gonna lead, do it right. In Uematsu.
Yes.
Think about what you're saying. Sorry, but you're ahead of Kami Fujiyoshi, one of our oppressors.
Takumi, don't be rude to Uematsu-sama.
See? You people are the reason why Ba-chan got so scared. Don't act like you're one of us.
My sincerest apologies.
And why are you in Yasumisu anyway? Honestly, I'm inclined to just start leveling accusations at this point.
Takumi, are you saying all of this is Kami Fujiyoshi's doing?
Who knows? Maybe not all of it. But their efforts to keep us here show that they know something is up, don't they? At the very least, I really can't believe some guys who think the feast is an old wives' tale and the wolves are really on the human side. They knew that the people of Yasumizu would die if the mist came. They deprive us of not only our prosperity, but even our lives.
Slander! I won't say that Kami Fujiyoshi is a group of saints, but they're resourceful and dignified people. Not to mention sensible. It's the age where science reigns supreme. Of course they don't believe in some old superstition.
Isn't that the reason why?
What do you mean? They didn't tell you all the secrets Fujiyoshi had to offer.
That's because your only value to your family is your belief that the family heads are upstanding people and that you don't shut up about it.
Oh?
Isn't that why they forced you to stay in the Nosatsu mansion when you returned, despite all the dangers here in Yasumisu?
Now you're crossing the line. Are you saying my family abandoned me?
Hey, that seems plausible. You're just like Yasun and I.
The heads are cruel. Those who lose a struggle for power, those deemed incapable, or simply those who dislike the ones in charge can simply be sent here. Our situation is one thing, but Mom, she came here all the way from Tohoku and married into the Higuchi family, but got thrown out the moment Dad died. I didn't care about that. Mom, sorry, I didn't mean to. I was fine as long as I had Yoshitsugu and you, Yasunaga. Anyway, there's no doubt they twisted our fates. I agree with Takumi on that. Too bad you're stuck here too, huh? I'm not blaming Yasumisu's people. What's gotten into you? We're all gonna die anyway. Oji-chan was acting all tough, but even he died so easily. I can't take this. Why didn't you just leave me there?
You weren't like this back then.
What's wrong? I've just had enough.
How sad.
What's wrong?
When wolves come, everyone becomes demons.
That they do. That's why we need to hang the Yomi Beetle.
Ugh, what a mess. Whatever, at least we know that Kami Fujiyoshi's people won't come and save us.
The road was blocked.
That's one reason. Anyway, I do think we should trust Kyo now. My reason's the same as Chiemi's.
Oh dear, how sad. Think what you want.
Anyway, when we have to hang someone, Uematsu is the easiest target. Keep acting like that and you'll be dead in no time.
Then what should I...
And just be honest and tell us what you know. Keeping quiet is the worst, and letting others take care of it won't do either. Right, Kyo?
Why not just take control of the feast, Mudo?
I just tried acting like the old man. That ain't me. I'll leave the rest up to you.
I don't have much left to say. Let's just hold a vote and hang whoever ends up being picked.
I'm telling you, that's too reckless!
Of course, you're free to argue your case, especially if you can prove you're more valuable alive. However, I don't want to hear any "I'm human" or "I don't want to die" non-arguments. Everyone would say that. The chosen one gives up and gives his life, leaving the fate of Yasumisu to the rest of us.
We'll hang at the hanging pine.
That should do the job. How do we vote? We'll start with the elders. You can have brief interviews too. When the voter decides, I'll record it in my notepad.
Huh? It's not anonymous? No way! We'll basically be telling people to die straight to their faces.
I've had enough of Serisawa's nitpicking. I'm starting. So, what's your name? That's the old guy.
The old man who cried wolf.
He's been old when I was still young.
You understand what I'm saying, sir? Which one of us do you think is a wolf?
Huh? Me? Why?
Oh,
Scary, scary.
one vote for Chimi Serisawa.
Hold on, are we seriously deciding who to kill like this?
We have no choice. He's a participant too. We can't deny his right to vote, can we?
Takumi Ni-chan, say something!
Yasunaga, what do you think?
I'll wait and see.
Same here.
Wait, are you really? So now it's me. I think I should vote for Chi-chan too. Why? Hi, Bachan. I'm sorry, I just don't know. But it's strange how you're so mad about everything here.
If the others survive, I don't mind dying.
Oh, I hear that, but I don't agree. Yasumisu's people are important to me, but so is my life. Not to mention, I know I'm not a wolf, so I'm not just gonna roll over and die.
Sure, I'll follow the rules. If I keep this up, I'll just get killed. Not to mention, we don't have any better options. Here, Taiba-chan, I've calmed down. Can you change your vote?
Should I?
You know what? Fine. It was my own fault for acting weird. Are you done? Mudo, it's your turn.
I'm voting for Mako.
Takumi Ni-chan!
You...
Do I even need to give a reason? I know she's a kid, but we basically know nothing about her. It's just way too weird. I don't know how true the legends are, but if something fishy comes from Saranaga, it's only fair to think she's fishy too.
Takumini, if that was how this worked, what would be the point of this bothersome feast?
I don't think we should decide based on that either.
Even if she didn't come from Saranaga, we still don't know who or what she is. Think about it this way. What if this little girl really was a wolf? If we all just ignored her just because she's a kid, she'd kill us all. Do you get that?
Looks like you're thinking too, Mudo. Next, Madame Oribe.
Haru Makishima-san.
Mom!
Why me?
Why not? Tell me then. Why did you try to run away today? You were feeling guilty over killing your grandfather in Yoshitsuka, weren't you?
No, that's not it. And why? Because I was scared. I didn't want to stay here.
Lies! Kaori-san, stop! His death hurt all of us. Even me and Haru. All of us hurt.
Vtubersen, what will you do with your vote? Haru Makishima it is. I'm next, and... I'm voting for the nameless old man.
Huh? Huh?
But why? That last exchange made him realize that he's not rational. We don't need someone like that around.
That's so unfair.
He regularly said that the wolves were coming even before all this happened. That's more than enough to find him suspicious. Still unfair. I think he's either completely insane or secretly knows something. Have you ever considered that there were feasts before this one? He should have been around for at least one.
But I haven't, and I'm over 70.
But he could have known. He's older than you after all. He could know something, but might be unable to say it because of senility, or might be hiding it out of malice. With this vote, I might be able to get info out of him, and if he's not, he's worthless. Worthless. Is it truly right to hang people based on whether they have worth at that particular moment? You say that, but if we continue, we will make more progress tomorrow. What do you mean? Today, Mudo will use his power to investigate someone who knows the truth about another person. The spider will once again protect Mudo. By repeating this, it'll only take 3 times to know who's a wolf and who's not, even if we guess wrong.
Really? And one day we'll hang someone. Someone will get killed by the wolves, and the snake will reveal another person. We'll find out about 3 people in one day, and since all the 11 besides Takumi-chan and Osato-san are unknown, it will take 3 or 4 times?
Exactly. You only have to hang 3 people at most. With that in mind, if you don't want to hang those close to you, you should start with those who aren't. It's for the good of Yasumisu.
Now listen here.
I'm arguing to maximize the happiness of the majority, Mudo.
Nosato-san, are you serious?
What? Kenny's math only works out if the wolves only kill people the snake hasn't checked. What if they only went after those whose identity were already confirmed? For example, what if they went out for you tonight?
I don't think I can agree with voting based on such a flawed conclusion.
Don't you think you're being too easy on the idea of killing your own?
I haven't said anything about killing my own. I'd never say that.
Oh man. Well, there were some mistakes there, but we're already voting. I'm leaving your decisions to you. Next up is Rikako Uematsu-san, right?
Going by seating order, I'm next. How troubling. I don't have enough info to go on.
Why are you so calm?
I'll make a mistake otherwise. That's why you and Mom should calm down. Please.
Hold on, Yasukun. Sorry to cut you off, but I just had an idea.
What?
Can the monkeys reveal themselves?
Why would they? Yasunaga-kun and Sir Makishima said it's best if they don't present themselves.
Well, I was thinking the same thing at first, but what's the point of the monkeys then?
They just know who the other monkey is, right? It's not like they get any new info later.
That's true. The only use I can think of is for them catching fake snakes.
But they can confirm who the other monkey is. So they can be confirmed as non-wolves just as easily as those investigated by the snake, right?
What if they lie?
Lying would be too risky. For example, I'm not a monkey, but if I went, "Hello, I'm a monkey," what would you do?
I'd say, tell me who the other one is.
Exactly, but I couldn't say it, because I'd be lying. Now, for example, if I said, "Alright, it's Mochi then." How do you know? Don't joke around. Well, I can't prove it, can I?
I see. But what if he played along because he thought being a monkey would keep him safe?
The real monkeys would call him out, and then we'd hang all four one after another to be sure. That's... The rule of thumb is that only wolves would try to lie to survive. That's the right thing to do, isn't it, Nosato-san? That's true. Once you clarify that's what would happen, you shouldn't get anyone pretending to be a monkey.
I see. It's too dangerous for both humans and wolves. It's just not worth it.
Does everyone understand? Looks like it. Then please, name yourselves. We'll lose 2 suspects. Right here! What is it, Mochi? I'm saying that I'm a monkey. You're not just dragging out the joke? Yep, I'm a monkey.
So, like we agreed, who's the other monkey?
Miko-chan.
Huh? Miko-chan, is that true?
What? When you woke up, was there something on your stomach?
There was a monkey.
She knows the symbols. Yes, I taught them to her, alongside prayer to Shinai.
We have any other monkeys? Doesn't look like it. That confirms it.
I see. So they really are monkeys. Crap. So I wasted my vote.
I think he should be giving a do-over. You want us to bend the rules?
I mean, what? You still want it to, to count towards the one we know isn't one? It's best to make it impossible to retract votes. We have too many people trying to change their vote at the last minute. Yeah, but this was for someone that you guys have now decided is definitely not a wolf. Good point. Fine.
Sorry about interrupting. Back to Yasukun.
I'll vote for the old man. My reason is that I think staying silent and doing nothing indirectly helps the wolves.
I'm next. 1,000,000 votes on Taiba. What?
1 vote each.
Then 1 vote for Taiba. I found it weird how she just voted for Chieni out of nowhere. What are you saying, boy? That's why you young'uns are such good-for-nothings. I'm next. Alright. 1 vote for the old guy.
So even you went for him.
Shut up. My reading is that I don't have any better ideas right now. That's it. Haru-chan's turn. I'll vote for Uematsu-san. You had to have been the one who brought the corruption.
No. I'm only here to fulfill my role.
Then just do that and take in the corruption. You're not doing that because you're a wolf, aren't you? Watch your tongue!
I cannot disagree. I'm powerless.
You don't have to humble yourself before these people. It's your turn. The person who voted for you must be suspicious.
Listen to this guy.
I will vote for Yasunaga Oribe-san.
Oh god. Kaori's gonna come after you.
You! I do not find him suspicious. I just had a thought. There would be no worse possible occurrence than were he to be a wolf. I did say a lot. I can't blame you for thinking I'm just tricking people. But I don't think I said anything wrong. At least, I didn't intend to. I don't mind if you vote for me. I believe that votes to express your outlook are important as well. The old man at the top with three is at the top of 3 votes. You there, child. You're the last one. Mako, do you understand?
I need to choose the wolf.
Yes.
Her. Me? Wait, seriously? You're scary.
I'm scared of you too. We need a final vote. 9 people besides Chiemi, Hirisawa, and the old man will vote for one of those 2.
The wolf is coming.
The results are in. Old man 7 votes. Chiemi Hirisawa 2 votes.
Everyone besides Taiba and Meiku-chan voted for the wolf guy.
Shut up. Are you ready, sir?
We all decided this. Every one of us is equally guilty. Better get ready, old man. Do you understand?
I need time.
Huh?
Need to clean up.
You want to take care of your belongings? I believe we can allow that much.
What if he's planning to escape?
Haru-chan.
Then I'll keep an eye on him.
You do that.
As soon as he returns, we will take him to Saranaga. Rikaku-san, where's the rope? Right here. And I think I will go ahead and leave it on that cliffhanger.
Very interesting to see how the first real feast played out. And doubt that old man is gonna be one of them. Well, then again, I don't know. The game surprised me with getting another double kill right away. But I was thinking it'd be too early to get a wolf down. But hey, who knows? We'll see.
Anywho, for the rest of the week, tomorrow at 8 p.m. EST here on YouTube, it's going to be Tales of Fantasia with Kudu. On Wednesday, Moon, Buttons, and I will be starting Resident Evil 7 over on Buttons' Twitch channel, Nanathodi. Decided to drop the 4th game. They were not having fun with the more action-oriented aspect of that, which is understandable. It did look pretty clunky, so we'll just be diving into 7. 5 and 6, I think we had already decided to pass on, because we know one of the game has some not good things on it, and both of them are action, so Buttons just wanted to avoid the more action-oriented games. Thursday on the Discord server at 9 p.m. EST, it will be Star Trek Watch Along. Friday over on Twitch at 6 p.m. EST will be Final Fantasy V. And then Saturday at 9 p.m. EST, it will be back to Animorphs. Thank you all so very much for coming on by. Hope you have a wonderful time zone wherever you are. And as always, please do take care of yourselves and each other. Toodaloo-hoo!